The silence is wrong. It is the first thing Kale notices. His old bones sensing the change before his ears. For generations, the rhythm of prehistoric life in the valley has been governed by two things: the endless flow of the river and the bellowing roar of the god who rules it. But today, there is no roar. The great sail-backed hunter is quiet. The air, usually thick with the territorial calls of the Spinosaurus, hangs heavy and still, broken only by the buzz of carrion flies. The clan huddles at the edge of the tree line, their dark eyes wide, sniffing the wind. The scent is of death, but it is a scent of impossible scale. It is the scent of a fallen mountain. For these early humans, the god is less a creature and more a law of physics, an absolute that defines the boundaries of their world. Its absence is a tear in the fabric of reality. Kale gives a low grunt. He is the elder, the keeper of memories, and fear is a luxury he cannot afford. EFTS, his only real weapon, a heavy femur from some long-dead herbivore, its end crudely sharpened. It is a piece of their simple osteodontocoratic technology, useful for cracking marrow bones. Pathetic against the living titans of this age of dinosaurs, he steps out from the cover of the ferns, and the others follow. A hesitant ripple of small, fur-covered figures against a landscape built for giants. They move as one body, a community bound by shared terror and the desperate need to understand. The path to the riverbank is a familiar map of caution, but today every rustle in the reeds sounds like a new and unknown doom. Then they see it. The body of the river god lies half in the shallows. Its immense sail, usually a flag of absolute dominion, now flopped and torn like a broken leaf. The water around it is stained a dark, murky red. The sheer size of the dead Spinosaurus is staggering. It has beached itself like a dead whale, its long, crocodile-like snout resting on the muddy bank. The current stops. A collective gasp stolen by the humid air. They have lived their entire lives in the shadow of this monster. Its existence a constant, primal seer. To see it laid low is like watching the sun fall from the sky. A few of the younger ones make sounds of relief, but Kale silences them with a sharp gesture. This is not a celebration. It is an omen. He approaches alone, his feet sinking into the mud. The stench is overwhelming. He circles the great head, his eyes scanning. Reading the story written on the flesh, he sees the marks of scavengers. Small clumps on heads already darting in to tear at the soft tissue around the eyes. But those are not what holds his attention. He sees deep, circular puncture wounds, too narrow and symmetrical for the tooth of a Tyrannosaurus rex. He runs a hand over the thick, pebbled hide near the massive shoulder and finds a long, deep gash, not the jagged tear of a claw, but a cut so clean it seems deliberate. It is a wound made by something sharp, straight, and driven with impossible force. A profound unease settles in his gut, a cold dread far worse than the fear of any beast. This was no dinosaur battle. This was an execution. This moment, he knows without knowing why, marks a terrifying new chapter in hominid history. Something new is hunting in their valley, something that can kill a god. Kale straightens, the popping of his spine lost in the oppressive quiet. He turns from the corpse, his gaze sweeping over his clan. They are a portrait of primal fear. Their knuckles white on their crude clubs. Their bodies tense to either fight or flee. But what is there to fight? What shape does this new terror take? To stay here, huddled by the river, is to wait for a shadow to fall upon them. That is the choice of prey. For the first time in his long life, Kale understands that knowledge is a weapon more vital than a sharpened bone. He points a gnarled finger away from the river, toward the trampled reeds and broken ground where the struggle took place. His command is a single, guttural sound. But the meaning is absolute. We follow. This is not a hunt for vengeance, but a desperate quest for understanding, a vital lesson in survival skills. The trail is a brutal testament. They follow a wide swath of destruction leading away from the water. It is not the path of a single hunter, but of a coordinated force. Kale's old eyes, trained over a lifetime to read the subtle language of the earth, see things that chill him to the marrow. He sees sets of bipedal tracks, deeper and heavier than their own, but unmistakably the prints of other hominids. They are not scattered in panic, but arranged in disciplined lines, flanking the deep, gouging trail of the wounded Spinosaurus. This was a pursuit, a relentless, organized one. The evidence suggests a level of cooperation that his own people, the river clan of Homo Habilis, have never conceived of. These are not the actions of simple opportunists. Further on, they find the first trap. A young female, Mara, merely pitches into it a pit, dug deep into the soft earth, its edges unnaturally sheer. It had been covered with a lattice of woven branches and leaves, now shattered. The river god had clearly blundered through it, its immense weight crushing the flimsy cover, but the fall had likely hobbled it, torn the muscles in one of its massive legs. Kale stares into the hole, his mind reading. To dig such a thing requires time, tools he cannot imagine, and a terrifying degree of foresight. It is a calculated act of engineering, a piece of primitive technology so advanced it feels like sorcery. They are not just tracking a rival clan, they are tracking a new way of thinking. The very landscape has been weaponized against its oldest master. The trail ends in a small clearing, a churned circle of mud and blood that marks the place of the final kill, and it is here, glinting in the mud, that Kale finds the final, damning clue. He kneels, his fingers brushing away the muck to uncover a sliver of black stone. It is not flint. It is not river rock. It is obsidian, volcanic glass, and it is sharper than anything he has ever touched. The edge is keen enough to slice flesh with no more than a gentle press. He holds it up to the light, a dark, gleaming fragment of a broken spearhead. The clean wounds on the Spinosaurus, the deep punctures it all clicks into place with the cold, hard finality of this impossible object. The truth is now undeniable. The monster that killed the god of the river was not a beast of claw and fang. It was intelligent. It was patient, and it looks like them. A new era of prehistory has begun. One where the most dangerous predator is no longer a dinosaur, but the face you see reflected in the water. The obsidian fragment feels cold in Kale's palm, a sliver of engineered night that has eclipsed the natural order. He looks at the faces of his clan, seeing his own dread mirrored in their eyes. The discovery has changed everything. The valley, once a known landscape of predictable threats, the river god, the raptor packs, the distant thunder of a browsing triceratops herd is now an alien territory. They are no longer merely struggling against the titans of prehistoric life. They are in a race against a rival intelligence, a ghost that thinks, plans, and kills with terrifying efficiency. Kale knows they cannot return to their caves and simply wait. Ignorance now is a death sentence. He grunts again, a sound of grim resolve, and points them further inland, deeper into the territory of these new, terrifying ancient humans. The trail of the spearmakers is subtle now, a whisper on the landscape. They move with purpose, leaving little sign. But Kale's clan, honed by a lifetime of evading predators, are expert trackers. They find where the rival group made camp the remains of a fire, hotter and more contained than their own clumsy pits, and the scattered bones of a small ornithopod, butchered with the same unnatural precision they saw on the Spinosaurus. This was no mere scavenging. This was the work of masters. The implications are staggering, a fundamental shift in the evolution documentary of their own existence. While his people have been surviving, these others have been advancing, their mastery of ancient tools unlocking a power Kale can barely comprehend. The fear he feels is ancient, but the reason for it is horribly new. They finally find them at the edge of a high cliff overlooking a narrow game trail. The river clan crawls on their bellies through the tall grass, their hearts pounding a frantic rhythm against the earth. Below, they see them. They are taller than Kale's people, their limbs longer, their movements infused with a chilling confidence. The spear makers, there are perhaps a dozen of them, practicing. They are not hunting, they are training. Two of them roll a massive boulder to the cliff's edge, while others below take up positions. burned with long, obsidian-tipped spears. At a barked command, the boulder is pushed. It thunders down the slope, a substitute for a charging beast. The hominids below react instantly, a fluid unit of deadly cooperation. They sidestep, plant their spears, and absorb the charge, guiding the rock into a pre-dug trench. It is a drill, a maneuver rehearsed to lethal perfection. It is the tactical blueprint for killing giants. The River Clan can only watch in silent. The sounds of their own chipping flint and breaking bones now seem like the games of children. This is the dawn of a sharper fear. Their struggle for survival is no longer just against the tooth and claw of the prehistoric world, but against the terrifying ingenuity of their own kind. The River Clan slips away unnoticed, the image of the spearmaker's drill burned into their collective memory. They retreat not to their old caves, but to a new, hidden place, a deeper darkness. Kale holds the obsidian shard, its edge a promise and a threat. He understands now. The great mystery of the river god's death has been solved. But the solution is a terror far greater than any beast. The rules have changed. The age of monsters is not ending. It is simply being handed to a new master. The most dangerous force on this ancient earth is no longer size or strength, but the coordinated will of a thinking mind. Their desperate, fumbling journey into human evolution has just been violently accelerated. In the silence of their new hiding place, a new sound begins the sharp, rhythmic clink of one stone striking another, not just to break, but to shape. It is the sound of fear becoming a weapon. The first echo of an arms race that will one day give these fragile beings dominion over the planet. Their struggle was not just for their own survival, but for the very idea that intelligence, born of terror and necessity, could be the sharpest tooth of all. This is the chronicle of unspoken histories. We do not celebrate the victor, only witness the struggle. For the greatest predators are not always born of scale and fury.